Hey guys, welcome back. Gosh, mixed bunch there. I'm not going to go through all those names. It says 18 waiting. Oh my gosh. I can see Chirpy. I can see Stefan. I can see Poppy. Um, I see Stephen Lang. Mike from Cornwall. Saw another name there from Cornwall too, which is pretty awesome. Warren Wise, g'day. Tommy and Craig, hello. John, hello. Kerno EXB, yeah, it's Mark from Cornwall. Machine in Tech, g'day Kevin. Yeah, the chat's kind of, yeah, I've been watching it a bit on and off. I don't sort of jump in much, but David, g'day. Warren, g'day. Mark Osborne, g'day. Dale. Rustin Ox, hello. It's raining. We have a puddle problem here. The only reason the puddle problem is not affecting me a whole lot is that I live halfway up the hill. Talk to me next week about it because it's going to get worse. The tropical cyclone out to sea. It's going to come down the coast and duck in about halfway between here and Sydney. I'm suspicious. It may peter out before then, but it's not very likely. And someone down there is going to get pretty wet next week. Today, we're only getting moderately wet. We've had sort of 300 millimetres of rain, something like that again this week. So for February, that's up to 630, 650, something like that. That's crazy. That's 28 inches. And it's wet. But anyway, we need more rain. 3,000 lines of chat. Yeah, something like that. It's awesome. Leave your lathe tool, especially on a smaller lathe. There you go. There's my 10 cents on that. And Stefan's the expert there. But especially on a smaller lathe or on a smaller mill, leave your tools sharp on the corners because your mill will thank you and your finish will thank you and your horsepower will thank you and your cranking hand will help sort of thank you too. Don't try and mess around with too much radius when you haven't got the horsepower. That's where I'm at with that. Anyway. Dennis, g'day. Rustinox, hello. Check out Rustinox's video, hashtag Codanger 2020. Still thinking about that. Haven't forgotten, just a matter of getting everything sorted out. Who started their Codanger? Are you getting me, Chirpy? Still thinking, Kevin. Good video from Kevin this week on the engine. Looks really, really good. It's looking great. Stupid sub counter fail. Good idea. The plug come out of the socket because I was leaning on it where my arm sits here against the post. Sorry. There you go. We don't have a sub counter fail at all. Thanks for pointing that out. Who else? Chirpy's had some awesome videos on this tool cutter grinder. This looks like a good thing. I can't wait to see it back together and looking good. Nice to see tools that people make from scratch. I really like that sort of content. I really do. Maddie, g'day. Good to see you. You need to get the Chirpy's videos. Actually, this last series has been pretty watchable. I really enjoying that. Thanks, Chirpy. A lot of work in a series like that, but it's looking good, and it's really it's going to be a nice build. Video block. Yeah, video block happens. Had never put a video up this last weekend, and I apologise for that. Bit slack. Yeah, tool and cutter grinder, Craig. That's awesome. Oh, that's no good, Matt. Hope you got some rain anyway, if nothing else. 3 to do this week, Stephen. That's awesome. I've got a parcel from Stephen Lang. That's really nice. Hang on, we zoomed right in here. Why are we zoomed in? Why have I got a flat spot and a jolly... What's happened there? I've got a flat spot on a wheel. How did that happen? Hang on, you're going over the wheel. For some reason I've got a flat spot on my gantry wheel. But anyway. Yeah, watch later list is getting longer. That's a problem. There's a good one from Stefan too, which was really interesting, especially the bit at the end about boring bars and tools that we can only dream about in Australia. Yeah, we've got a problem in Australia is that we can't buy from these guys. They won't sell to anyone in Australia. They probably sell to us, but they won't ship to us. So that's a problem on 2 levels. One is that the Australian government isn't particularly keen, if I'm going to get political a little bit here at this point, they aren't keen on promoting industry or invention or progress. So they don't go out of their way to make supplies like this easy to get here. The other one is that McMaster Carr are a proud American veteran-run company, etc., 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 and don't want to sell to anyone else. So those combined problems mean that I've got to get someone else to buy stuff off them when I can't get it anywhere else and send it across. And Stephen was kind enough to do that. These little spherical self-aligning washers, 4 of them, or 4 sets of them, which is awesome. Hey, Fridge. It just swim down and fix a fence. It's only going to get deeper. I was talking about me being on top of the hill. Fridge is at the bottom of the hill. He's got problems. If he doesn't get out next week, he's going to have problems. Anyway, they just to cheer him up, I'll tell him that. He lives about, or he works about where the cyclone's going to hit next week, I think. So these little self-aligning washers go on here. This bolt isn't the answer. What I'm probably, just looking at these now, they're hard, I guess. What I'm probably going to do, and I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but I'm probably going to hard turn these and re-blacken them. So turn a recess in them to fit an ordinary cap head screw in the top. And I guess you can see that. But these are self-aligning, so they line up there and they move. So they're spherical, so they move like that. So they're always bolt down tight. But I'm probably going to machine a hole in there for a seat for an ordinary cap head screw. Not sure yet. I'd like to have these hex too. If I had like a rotary broach tool, which I don't, I could probably make a hex head bolt with an internal socket head, which would be ideal. That's what I'd really like for these. But at this point, there's just going to be Umbracos, I think, and probably I'm going to recess that so they sit in it nicely. And we'll see how that goes. So they've arrived. Pretty pleased to get them. We can get some things. It's just we have lower ideals, and a job like this needs this particular washer, and it's really nice to get them. And thanks, Stephen. Really appreciate that. He also sent a couple of these, which I put on the wish list. Which are ball bearing detent. I only learned about these reasonably recently, and I've used them on a couple of jobs, but I've got another couple of jobs for these, or another job for these. They're spring-loaded ball bearings and they're adjustable. So they're kind of cool if you want to make something that clicks in and out or whatever. Small things. This bag already had a hole in it, so it's going to need a piece of tape or something on it before I lose them. You probably could. Absolutely probably could. I don't have a ball nose end mill and I don't have a radius cutter to cut the top. So, yeah, we need an outlet like in America, but we don't have the numbers really, and we need the government to step in and say, hey, we want to support industrial development here. So please, yeah, this is how we're going to do it. And we're going to do it by putting our hand in our pocket, but it hasn't happened. So that's progress on those. Material I'm struggling with to get for this, but I've got some of it, but not all of it. So when that comes, that's all systems go. So everything else is looking pretty good. I'm going to blacken these up, I reckon, to match these and make the heads the same. Probably blacken the nuts in the bottom, and then I might just case harden the rest, and they should look really nice, and they might even work. What's next? I've run a hone through this. Yeah, Warren, even if you can find, if they actually want to send it to you, that's the problem. Hey, Raymond. Run a hone through this. I'm not happy. Well, it's not bad. It's not shabby at all, but there's a little bit of a chatter mark there, I think. I don't know if it is or it's just a texture or whether it's just oil mark or something. I can't really feel it in the fingernail in there. But I might give it another go, because I've had to get another piston from Clark, and fess up, I struggle with this. This is something that I've had a problem with, and in the past when I attempted this, I never had any luck with it. This years ago, and I thought I sort of had it covered and all the gear that I needed to do it. But this is the piston, and the problem with this one, you can't tell from the outside. But the problem is the hole's not in the centre. Like the gudgeon pinhole's not directly across the centre, which is a bit of an interesting thing to do, really. Yeah, it should be 20/20, but it's not in places. Culturally, we're a long way in front. Industrially, we're a long way behind China and a little bit behind other countries. There you go, if we're going to say it like that. So this is a problem, and I've requested a new casting tonight for this, and it should be here before too long. But I didn't realise that I've put, offset pin. Fridge, that's fine, and it would work, no worries at all. However, making a jig to clamp this on a faceplate with an offset pin is almost impossible because it pulls sideways and it won't sit straight on the flange on the bottom. So that's where I'm at the moment. I would probably just do it and say nothing if it was if I could clamp it up properly, but I can't. So I'm going to get another one cast, which is going to be a little bit oversized actually compared to what this was, and it won't hurt, and we're going to have another go at it. This is a nice casting and everything lines up, but when I look at it, and I looked at it this morning tonight, and sort of measured it up, and it's about a millimetre offset here, which accounts for why I can't screw it up on a faceplate. I messed around. I made a sort of a draw bolt to go on the gudgeon there, and I made a faceplate that fits on there to screw it on, and that's all very well, but when you screw it down, it kicks over sideways like that because this is offset. And when I thought about it today, that's the only thing it can be. So we need to do this again. In 1923, this didn't have offset pins. So that's where we are at with that. There's plenty to do beforehand, and I'm going to get another video out next weekend on this no matter what. So we'll see how we go with that. These guys, Bolt & Scale Models, EJ Winter. Hey, David. These guys are fantastic. They never used to be fantastic. They're in Sydney. They used to be terrible. In fact, years ago, they were beyond terrible. You didn't know whether the stuff was actually going to turn up or not. And when it did turn up, you often got the wrong thing, or you got unusable stuff, or you got something substituted for what the guy thought was the right thing. And it sort of made me think I wasn't going to deal with them, but it's under new ownership now, and it's fantastic. I ordered this Monday morning. It's here today. I got some steam oil, like proper steam oil. This was a good price, actually. The 460 weight steam oil is good stuff. I won't take the lid off because it's pretty sticky. But, whoa, sorry about the bump. Hey, David, you're doing great. Good to see you. So I got that, and I also put my hand in my pocket and got this. This is Cherry Red Case Hardening Compound. I've got a tin of it, but it's got water in it for some reason. I don't know how. And rather than try and rescue it, which you can't, it's going straight in the bin. It's a bit of a pity because it's kind of too good to do that too, but I don't think I can rescue it. So I've got a new tin of Cherry Red Case Hardener, or they call it Cherry Red. I don't know if it's the actual brand name or whether it's just case hardening powder. Don't think it's cyanide. Craig, that sounds awesome. They probably thought my jolly power plug's fallen out again. I'm sorry about that. We'll start that again. I'm going to have to do something about that, I think. Probably move it to the bottom socket rather than the top one so it doesn't get bumped all the time. Anyway. Fridge, do you know the difference between the two steam oils? Let us know if you do. You're the most likely person here probably to know. Hey Drew, good to see you. The other project that I've been working on, pretty constant over the weekend, and I've done a lot of hours on this actually the last little while, is in this cute pink tray. This is my thread cutting attachment. You've all seen this. Bit of an update on this. This is the shape it's going to be. Let me get some of these bits out and have a look. There seems to be a lot of bits. I made some extra ones of these because I needed 2 more, and they were a bit of a headache actually this time round. The 4140, my countersunk tool was getting a bit blunt, and I had trouble getting them to stay tight in the chuck, so I made a couple of them actually before I got a couple that I was happy with. Can we see that? That's probably not a bad angle. Turtle survived. This is the turtle side. We've made this weekend. This is the tumbler, right? This goes in a bush here, which fits through here into this thick piece of plate. If we imagine this is 20 millimeters thick, this goes through here. And we've got a bush that looks, oh gosh, something like that, goes through there. With a set screw probably in the back. We'll think about that. And that moves sort of, it's supposed to move between there and there, and it's got a detent in here into the plate to work out the 3 positions. And then this runs on here and either meshes on this one or this one and gives you the reverse and a central position for idle, I hope. That's how I'm sort of envisaging it. This has got a bit of a job. This has got a grub screw in here. Let's see how this works. A lot of people ask me a lot of questions about this, so we'll go into this a bit if you're patient enough. It's got a grub screw with a this is a pretty good fit. I'm kind of happy with this actually. There we go. This has got 10 radial holes and it's eccentric. So this gives us the, basically this gives us the backlash offset for this gear and this gear and this gear, so that they kind of all work together, I hope. This has also got backlash adjustment in here. This is a pretty nice slot with a horizontal mill, just so you know. Horizontal mill is not an entirely useless thing. You can do nice work with it. These have got a bush in them, and then they've got a hardened pin screw and a T-nut that they screw into. So these are all adjustable backwards and forwards to give us good backlash here. And then this one here, which goes in there sort of, I'm not going to put it back in now because it's got to go the right way, and it's got to line up properly without damaging it and squashing it. Okay. I originally thought that this one was going to be offset too, which is the idler, which has another 40-tooth gear on it, and it's got a similar thing like this style. These go on the banjo, and it's going to look something like this with a, it's not going to be bronze, but it's going to have a bush stick out so that we can use the bush and a gear on the outside too, and that goes on there so that this meshes on the idler. And then there's another gear on the outside which will probably mesh on the, it should clear all this. That's why all that's down nice and neat, so that meshes with the others on the banjo, which goes on here, sort of. Thanks, Fridge. So that's how that works. I got these, which are total overkill, but rather than put a bronze bush in here that this shaft rotates on, I'm suspicious, on the oil subject, I'm suspicious 600 weights for superheat. That's probably where I'm at with it. That's my thoughts. These go in there. I'm not going to put them in there, and this is not going to be eccentric, I don't think. But I bought these, and I'm just going to put a little bit of grease in them and then put everything in it and forget about it and never ever touch it again, probably, I hope. Because I can't think of a way to oil the bronze bush if we put a bush in there. So that's the next job for that. Is to make one of these in, say, 4140, and then there's another washer too that is like this with a flange on it that gives us our space behind here for this, and we're going to bore this plate to fit the bush, I think. And then counter bore it in the front to fit this bush in here. And whether I put a couple of screws in it, which I always think are ugly, probably I'm just going to press it in with a little bit of Loctite and say it's in there and it's not coming out. So that's where I'm at with that. This is going to have a shaft sticking out that looks something like this, with the screw sticking out in the middle for another one of these nuts. This is a lot more complicated. I was thinking last night it would have been easier just to make another one of these and put on a shaft on the front, but it hasn't happened. So we're making it more complicated than it really needs to be. And then we're going to do a similar thing with roller bearings, I think, in this part, which drives the drive shaft out the back to the compound, which looks like this. I'm guessing you've all seen this. This has got actually got one of those little ball detents in there, and this has a 2-position pin. With 2 grooves in it, and that goes on the lathe, on the compound, into the compound. It clicks there and it clicks there. So when the stop pushes this out, it disengages it at the end of the cut. That's the theory. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but it's a good theory. And this end here has to go on here like this somehow and drive. So I'm still working out the logistics of that. It's probably going to have a boss sticking out so I can put a hole in the banjo, and then a slot round here with a T-nut and a lock nut or a lock handle lever at the back. So I don't think it would probably be a problem, Chirpy, with on oil. I really don't know. I think it would last longer. I think probably it's a bit heavier grade, so it doesn't wash off when the steam gets hot. But interesting. Anyway, so that's where we're at with that. This is going to have the thick plate's going to have a hole in here and a hole in here, and then an eccentric pin with a lever on it to lock it, and then a thread on the end of here with a T-nut. So you screw the T-nut on and it slides on, and then you can lock it in the right spot. No one lubricates idler wheels. Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm really going to try, but there we go. Anyway, these bits are all sort of subjective. This isn't going to look anything like this. I think it's going to have 2 slots on it side by side and another slot around here, and it's not going to have this boss on it. Take care, Stefan. Good to see you. Have fun in the lab. Appreciate you dropping in. If you've got a spare $1 a month, support Stefan on Patreon. He does make some awesome videos. There you go. So that's where we're at. It's coming together, and I've still got to either cut or sit down and change reel and file this up or sand it up or whatever out of a piece of 20mm plate, which I'm not particularly happy about. So JB has a wire EDM machine which would cut it out beautifully, and I've drawn it up, but they're having some logistics with that too, so it might take a little bit of time. This one I just chain drilled and then basically cleaned up on the belt sander and the file, and then bored this in the 4-jaw, and then I milled this with a nice sharp end mill, probably Niagara end mill. Thank you, Dennis. And it's all looking pretty good. Anyway, I have a mill now, Dennis. Don't stress too much about that. I also have plenty of end mills, but they're going to run out. I'm trying not to damage too many of them. In a hydrostatic lubricator, probably the fine stuff's better. If it's under pressure or with a pump, I think probably 600 might be better if we're going on the... Anyway, take care. Coathanger 2020. It's the hashtag. Check it out. Get your entry, get your videos in. I can't wait to see them all. Thanks, Rustanox. I really try not to break end mills or abuse them too much, and with a little bit of care that usually happens. I don't have very many chipped ones, to be honest. I don't like abusing tools at all. Shop apron, Chirpy. You need a Tom Lipton style shop apron. That's what you need. And if you haven't got one, well, that's a bit slack. That's different, Dennis. So that's that project. What else is going? Don't know if there's much else happening really. All my machines are dirty again, like terribly dirty. I've been flat out. Here's another really cool thing to check out and watch out for. I was thinking this. These are Aldi brand needle files. Now, I've modded them a bit. The handle's probably not really worth having. So I've put plastic dual wool double thick glue line heat shrink on the handles, which is really nice. There's a Robin Renzetti and Stefan trick. And these are pretty good for the money, which was like $12. These are pretty jolly good files. They're a bit aggressive maybe, but for good work and fairly rapid metal removement and hard steels, they're fantastic. So if you're shopping at Aldi and you see these, they're great. Big shout out to them. I think they're excellent. Most of my horizontal cutters have come that way, and it would be really nice to have some way of sharpening them, but I don't yet. Here's another one that'd be awesome to be able to sharpen. If you're expecting to sharpen these, don't buy this type. Just so you know, these don't sharpen well. The geometry gets all mucked up pretty easy. Anyway. Yeah, that's awesome, Chirpy. That's going to be great when it's going. Another thing, all us Australians, and probably some of you Americans, and definitely your English, if you can get this stuff, right? This was a viewer gift, right? You probably can. Well, I got it cutting again, but I'm not real happy with it. This stuff is made in America, right? Made in Louisiana. Quicklow.com. I don't know where else you buy it. Probably McMaster Car, which is no good to anyone else. But this is a paste cleaner with a bit of wax in it. Chrome cleaner. Rust remover. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of, yeah. Silver, brass, porcelain, windshields, mirrors, tyres and more. It's for just about anything because it's fairly unaggressive stuff. But if you've got a rust problem on hand wheels and exposed metal that's not machine surface and not wear surfaces, this is the stuff. This is so good. It's water-based and it's just a paste cleaner that you use with a soft cloth. But it leaves a wax residue and it cleans off the rust. If you live in America in particular, where did you buy it, Fridge? Because in the rainy season, this is the best stuff. I'm kind of a bit of a fan of it, actually. If it dries out, you just put some water in it and mix it up again. But this stuff, it's not really a Autosolve. Autosolve is kind of okay, but this leaves a wax on it, so everything's nice and smooth and easy to on the hands, and it seems to feel pretty good. And it seems to go a fair probably 12 months without needing another application. Yeah, it's better than Autosolve. It's good stuff. I'm kind of converted to this stuff. If you've got hand wheels that are likely to go rusty, just bare metal and knobs and levers and things, this is the stuff. And also model engine flywheels too. It's fantastic on model engine flywheels, I think. Anyway, we've pretty well covered all bases. I don't know if there's very much. I've had stuff to mail to everyone and it hasn't happened yet. mostly funds, etc., etc., etc. And rain. I'm not really liking carrying bags of stuff out in the rain. It has been raining. It'll happen at some point. What else? Subscribers are up. Big thanks to that. 5790. That's pretty cool. Awesome, Craig. Expect a video on this 400 engine, both on Patreon, a new video on Patreon, and then the next one in the series is video 2 on YouTube sometime. And expect some progress on these by next week, probably, or probably not. And expect some progress on this one. It's probably going to rain, Fridge, and it wouldn't know about that, but it's probably not going to rain as much here as some places, which I'm very thankful for. There's always someone less fortunate than yourself. Anyway, I'm going to call it. Thanks for watching. Go and check out everyone else's in this. Pretty much everyone who's commented on this chat has got a pretty cool channel that's worth checking out. So click on another name and go and subscribe to someone else if you're watching this afterwards. They've all got good channels. There's some cool stuff there. The more subscribers they get, the more likely they are to post new stuff. Yes, the colour's decided. I know what this is going to be. It's not going to be green. Anyway, I'm out. See you later. And thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next week. And there'll be a video before then, or a couple, I reckon. Take care again. And it won't be green.